I spent 5 days with some of the biggest content creators in the world. Their audience sizes literally varied from 600,000 to 24 million. In addition to that, I also spent time with some of the biggest brands in the world. Like I'm talking big household names, right? So obviously I had a lot of questions for a lot of the people that I met. And obviously I'm going to share all of my biggest learnings with you guys. So if you want to hear the top 5 pieces of wisdom that I learned from some of the most successful content creators and biggest brands in the world, and hint, these are probably things you've never heard before, then this video is for you. Let's get to it. Okay, so a little bit of context real quick. I was invited to the south of France by YouTube. And the reason why was because there was a festival happening called the Cannes Lions Festival of Creativity. It's basically a big advertising festival. So myself, in addition to some other incredible creators and a bunch of brands, were invited to south of France. And we spent 5 days just talking about social media, on the beach, watching these incredible acts perform. It was mad. If you want to see a vlog from that trip, then join my Behind the Business YouTube membership. I'll put a link in the description below so you can see what really went down. But that is basically how I managed to spend 5 days with some of these incredible people. So let's start off with the first bit of wisdom that I learned for some of these incredible creators and brands. The first thing I learned was the importance of playing the long game when it comes to content creation. I specifically learned this from a creator called Arak, who you might already know because he has a huge platform, like 13, 14 million odd subscribers, right? Really, really big on YouTube. And he was talking about a piece of content that he's working on. I won't spill the beans on it in case it's not public. A piece of content that he's working on, which is requiring him to spend over an hour prepping for this piece of content for a year. Every single day for over an hour, he is spending his time prepping for this video for an entire 365 days. And when he said that, it really made me think, wow, that is the definition of playing the long game when it comes to your content. A lot of us are not willing to do that, myself included. We tend to approach things from like a short-term gain perspective, when realistically what we should be doing is approaching our content from a short-term pain, long-term gain perspective. And let me give you an example of how this might manifest for you. Have you ever had an idea for a piece of content and thought, nah, that's long? Because I have that idea all the time. In fact, let me expose myself here. I think that's why I don't like vlogging, because vlogging actually takes a whole day, whereas I can sit here and film this video in half an hour, right? That is me quite clearly choosing a short-term gain, right? When actually, if we directed our efforts to creating these incredible pieces of content, even if they might take us a long time to create, we could end up unlocking a lot of long-term gain in return for our short-term pain. So I want you, after this video, to sit down and ask yourself, what is a content idea that you have put off doing because you think it takes too much effort? And what can you put in place that's going to allow you to actually commit yourself to that piece of content and actually create it? The next thing that I learned is all about AI. I know, shocking. I was at a marketing conference and people were talking about AI. How strange. No, literally everyone was talking about AI. It was everywhere. Now, the interesting part that I want to talk about here, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, we should use ChatGPT. No, I've got a whole video on that. I'll link it up here. What I want to talk about is how AI might change the game for brand partnerships. So if you're a brand or a creator, listen up. Now, Google have this technology called generative AI, which basically allows you to think of it like product placement into your content after you've already created the content. So I had the opportunity to interview the vice president of Google advertising, and she gave me this example when she was explaining generative AI. She said that I could create a video or a photo taken on the beach. And after I create that video or photo, I can Photoshop in a bottle of sunscreen. So think about this from a brand partnership perspective, because it unlocks so many new opportunities. What this might lead to is a whole new revenue stream for content creators. We can soon start selling product placement in our content, and we can actually sell it after we've already created the footage. Let's say, for example, I partnered with IKEA, which would be a great partnership, by the way. So if IKEA, if you're watching, I'm available. Let's say I partnered with IKEA and they wanted to insert their lamp. This actually is an IKEA lamp, but let's say this wasn't already in my video. And they said, we want to do some product placement. We've got a brand new lamp. We want it to be in 5 of your new videos. I could have already filmed those 5 videos and used generative AI to place that lamp into my content, and I could get paid for it, and IKEA could get product placement for it. Mind-blowing. Now, we're a while off from this being a commercial income stream that we know how to navigate, but best believe when we're there, I will share a video all about it. Now, the other thing that I learned is that YouTube Shorts is where it's at. The creators I spoke to, some of the stories they told me about how YouTube Shorts changed their lives literally blew me away. We're talking about gaining tens of millions of subscribers within 1 year thanks to YouTube Shorts. That's insane. In fact, I got the biggest, like, I guess it's FOMO, where I was like, I wish I jumped on YouTube Shorts sooner than I actually did. And you'll be pleased to know that I'm fully on it right now. In fact, I've actually shared a YouTube Short every day for the past like 2.5 weeks. I'll be filming a video which will share all the results from me sharing so many shorts, by the way. So keep your eye out for that video. But the point is that YouTube Shorts is where it's at. Now, some of the creators I met even created a separate channel just for their YouTube Shorts and saw huge success in that too. So if you are sitting there thinking, you know what, I've not given YouTube Shorts a proper try yet, this is your chance to do it. And if you're really stuck, start by repurposing some of your short form content from other platforms, but always make sure that you don't have a watermark on it. So you don't want to have like the Instagram logo or the TikTok logo when you're sharing it to YouTube Shorts, because it probably won't perform as well. But the biggest thing that you could do, the biggest takeaway, is to start posting shorts right now. I want you to do it right now. Even if you don't have a YouTube channel, create one and start sharing shorts. Okay, so the other thing that I learned, and this mostly came from my discussions with brands. Again, these are some of the biggest brands in the world that I was speaking to. Something that I learned was that brands really want to work with us creators long term, but they are slightly nervous. And if we can make that decision easier for them, that is how we're going to unlock these long-term partnerships. So let me give you an example. I was speaking to a huge beauty brand, one of the biggest ones in the world, and they were talking about how they would love to have like a squad of creators that they work with, but it's just such a big commitment to pick creators and, you know, commit to working with them for like 6 to 12 months, right? So we were talking about this idea of doing test runs with different creators just to make sure the relationship works and that the content works as well, right? And this is a really simple thing that we can offer brands ourselves as creators. We can say to a brand, hey, I would love to work with you full time. However, I know that's a big commitment. So what I propose is that we do 1 to 3 different test campaigns where I create some content, we schedule a call after the post and really talk through the feedback so that I get to a stage where I really understand what you want and you feel comfortable with the ways that we work together. And after that, we can talk about developing a longer term contract, right? If we say that to a brand, they're going to feel so much more comfortable entering a long-term partnership with us. And also it gives us a chance to trial the brand too. We might not enjoy working with this brand. It works both sides. So long-term partnerships are available to all of us, but it's up to us to really suggest the idea of doing a test run first. Last, but certainly not least, the whole trip to Cannes and the entire week or 5 days spending time speaking to, you know, head of marketing or CMOs and all these really, really senior people who are the decision makers within these like incredible brands. It made me realize the sheer importance of being able to speak marketing. Like speak the language of marketing. And you know what else really helped me to learn that was when I was speaking to the other creators. All of these creators had such a grasp on marketing. I literally felt like I was speaking to people who I previously worked with. And I'm pretty sure a majority of them had never worked in marketing, but they were successful creators. And part of the reason why they're so successful is because they've dedicated so much time and energy to understanding how brands work, how they think, and how marketing works as a whole. And it comes across. The conversations that us as a group could hold with these brands were only possible because we understood how to speak their language. So one of the biggest things that I learned was how important it is that all creators actually dedicate some time and energy to understand the industry that they're in, which is marketing. That is the industry that we're in. We're in the marketing industry. Whether it sounds like it or not, that is the one that we're in, and that is the one that we need to engross ourselves in. If you don't know how to do that, I have so many free resources. I have a whole new company that's dedicated to helping you do that. So head to my link in my description so you can get your hand on free workbooks, free resources, and even binge listen to my podcast where I interview different industry leaders from brands, creators, and just the whole marketing world. Okay, so those are some of the things that I learned from some of the most incredible creators. Like honestly, these creators were so inspiring. It was absolutely wild. I felt very privileged to be around them, in addition to some of the incredible brands that I spoke to too. If you feel like hanging around, I've got 2 video options for you. One is actually from my other YouTube channel, and it's a podcast interview with the founder of an influencer agency. If you listen to this interview, you'll get a really good grasp of the different ways that marketers speak and how the industry works. Now, if you don't have an hour spare, then I recommend watching this video. It's all about how you can create a strategy for your Instagram account in 5 minutes. Not only will it help you grow your Instagram account, but also it will give you a bit of insight into how marketers talk. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, I can't wait to speak to you in my next one.